Welcome back to The Heat. We're discussing the energy crisis in Egypt and the challenges facing the al-sisi government. Joining us now from Minnesota is Dr. Abdul Mawgoud Dardery, a former spokesperson for the Freedom and Justice Party. And here in our studios is Dr. Tawfik Hamid. He's a senior fellow at the Arlington, Virginia think tank, the Potomac Institute for Policy Studies. Gentlemen, thanks to both of you for joining us. Pleasure. Dr. Dardery, let me start with you. When we look at Egypt right now, we see an energy crisis, a financial crisis, political tensions. Is it a stable country right now?
The country is down the road due to the coup that took place a year ago. The coup caused all these problems. We were moving into the democratic process slowly but surely. There is no country that can move economically in the right way unless it is politically free. It is the decision of the people of Egypt to be able to push the country forward. The problem now, we have a coup government that is trying to suppress all types of freedom. There is no freedom of movement, freedom of expression, or freedom of organization. Political parties are being banned. People are being arrested from the streets. More than 43,000 Egyptians are in jail now. Thousands got killed. And it is very unfortunate, the mass killing, the mass arrests, the death sentences that are taking, this is together, is putting the country backward. There is no hope for the country unless and until it goes back to the democratic process where there is fair and free election. The military has to be out of power, and those who killed the Egyptians need to be brought into account.
All right, let me get Dr. Hamid's take on that. The country, no hope, the country going backwards.
First of all, I would like to comment on the use of expression coup by Mr. Dardery, because what happened in June 30 is exactly what happened in January 25. A revolution by millions of people against the leadership, a military intervention. And in fact, in January 25, the military took power immediately. But this time, the military didn't take power until the people elected General al-Sisi. So we cannot use really the word coup. And Mr. Dardery also has to be clear that the violence and the problems started when people and members of his Muslim Brotherhood group, like, for example, Safat Hijazi, stated clearly on TV, and it's on YouTube, that they will attack churches if Morsi didn't come back to power. And after this, they burned more than 50 churches.
I just want to ask you one thing about the election.
No,
I mean, sorry, Dr. Dardery, I'll get to you in a moment. I just want to clarify something here. You said an election did take place. Al-Sisi was elected president.
Yes.
But the main party, the opposition party, the Muslim Brotherhood, was banned, was suppressed. They were put in jail.
When you see a party, the leaders clearly stating that terrorism in Sinai, they will stop it if Morsi came to power, which clearly indicates that they are behind the terrorist attacks in Sinai. And also when you see a party, when it's the members of the party celebrating, especially the young people, the terror acts in the country, you cannot really classify this group as a real political party. They have some good people, maybe, but and as a whole, there is a lot of violence that happens from their side.
Okay, let's go to Dr. Dardery. And Dr. Dardery, I want to move on to the challenges that Egypt is facing right now. What are the main challenges, in your view, that the country faces?
The most serious challenge is political stability. As long as the coup is in a stand, as long as the military rules over the country, as long as it is becoming a police state, as long as people have no freedom to move around, to have their own political views expressed, there is a fascist media. Mr. Hamid is supporting fascism in Egypt. In Egypt, thousands of people are killed. You should not support the killing of your fellow Egyptians. Thousands of people are in jail. That should not be supported. That should be condemned. I invite you, Dr. Hamid, is to read Human Rights Watch that considers what is happening in Egypt as the world's largest killings of peaceful demonstrators. That is the real problem in Egypt. You cannot kill Egyptians and claim. Just let me finish. I listen to you. Let me finish, please. You cannot kill Egyptians and claim to be a government of Egypt. Governments are made to serve not to kill the people of Egypt.
Okay.
And unless this killing, unless the human rights situation improves, and unless the military leaves the power, the political power, there is no hope in the country. The country instability will continue.
All right, let me get your response to that.
Two parts here. Yeah. Regarding Human Rights Watch, I just wrote an op-ed about how the report was misleading, it was biased, and it was unprofessional, putting all the points in the op-ed, and the day after this, or within 48 hours, they actually changed a significant part of their report. And this significant part was going to change the whole story, because they claimed that the person who gave, one of the people who gave them information, who was a main witness, said clearly that the Muslim Brotherhood group were the ones who started attacking the police. And this changed the whole story of the Human Rights Watch completely, from a planned attack, as the title of their report was, to a reaction to illegal violence. But regarding the point of Mr. Dardery of the military coup and insisting on the word, if you went now to the streets of Egypt, you will see a majority of people are supporting al-Sisi. We had this electricity problem, for example, yet we have not seen people going into the streets demonstrating against the military. So the choice of al-Sisi was on their free will and accord. And Mr. Dardery knows well what happened to the country during Morsi time, and how they alienated and ignored all the other political parties after giving them promises that they will make them sharing in power. They completely ignored them, and this was the cause of the problem. Morsi was offered the final chance to allow the political resolution. He refused. He refused to have a early elections for presidency, and he was the one who put the country in this situation.
Okay. Dr. Dardery, I want to get into some specific issues in Egypt right now. One of them is the energy crisis. The country's state-owned energy company is in serious debt right now, running into billions of dollars, something like $6 billion. How did Egypt get into this position? I mean, it's also got a very serious problem with its economy. 25% of the country lives below the poverty line.
Yes. Thank you. This is a very important question. And I would like, it seems Mr. Hamid does not understand what democracy is. Democracy is you elect a president, the president runs, and then we remove the president through election. Sisi came, kidnapped the president, imprisoned thousands, and killed thousands. This is a coup. And Sisi, look at the people who went to the election of Sisi, no more than 10 to 15%. Now back to your question. The energy problem has been there in Egypt for decades now due to dictatorship. You see, there is a political failure because of the military ruling over Egypt. Mubarak was a military general. Sadat, Nasser, they were all military general. That's why we went to the streets on January 25th, 2011, demanding 4 things. And the sign of Rab'a means the 4 things. Economic progress. That was the first important principle. That's why we went. Because there is no transparency, there is no freedom, there is no social justice, and there is no human dignity in Egypt. Unless there is freedom, there is no solution to these problems. We need transparency, we need accountability. What we have now, we have a police state, we have a state of fear, we have a military that is controlling the political affairs of the country. And this is not going to lead to any solution. Unless the Egyptians gain back their democracy, then we will be able to hold those who have failed to provide alternatives, hold them accountable. Those who killed the Egyptians in the streets need to be held accountable. Sir, when people have no dignity in their own country, when people have no freedom in their own country, there is no economic progress. You can impose sanctions, you can impose oppression and fear on the people, but this is not going to solve the problem. We need democracy, and we will have to have democracy.
Okay, Dr. Hamid, as we've heard there, Egypt is facing some significant economic problems right now. Do you see any evidence of the new leadership in Egypt having a plan, having a vision, having some kind of strategy to overcome these problems?
Absolutely. First of all, within a short period of time, the President al-Sisi took serious decisions. For example, the Suez Canal project that can bring the country to a new era of economy. Hopefully it will succeed. So the decision was taken. Also, the decision to remove the subsidy for the food to some extent, but mainly actually for the energy, which was used by the wealthy people more than the poor people. So he's redirecting the subsidy to the poor people to create some social balance in the country. The third actually was, in my view, supporting a reformation within their religious understanding, and in fighting radicalism via the brain, via the changing the ways of thinking. And al-Sisi supported this direction clearly. So I see the elements of success are there. In fact, recently there was in Bloomberg report saying that the foreign investments started to come back to the country, and the EGX index increased by 35% in dollar value last year, which is considered the third in the world. So the direction, I see the situation is not good, but the direction is hopefully going forward.
All right.
Let us talk about these three things.
We just have a minute left. I want to get your response to that the current leadership in Egypt, the current government in Egypt, is on the right track to resolve the country's problems.
It is not. Mr. Hamid is just either fooling himself or fooling the audience. The current leadership is stalled the project of Suez Canal, and it will not succeed because of two things: no transparency, no accountability. The subsidies are hurting the poor. He's serving the rich. He's serving the few. There is no reform in Egypt. Egypt, due to the fact, how come a co-leader can bring reform to the country? The country needs democracy, needs transparency, needs accountability, and this is the only way.
All right, Dr. Dardery, go ahead.
We tried Morsi for a year, and what happened? Political instability was more, and the queues just to get a gallon of gas were in kilometers. So we tried the experience with the Muslim Brotherhood, as many other countries tried. And I'm so sorry, now the troubles we live in Egypt are because of the radical Islamists who are doing terror acts.
The solution is democracy,
without these terror acts, the country will move forward.
You have,
tell your people to stop this, and the country
military will have no solution to the country.
I'm afraid we've run out of time. Thank you, Dr. Dardery. We've run out of time. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Dr. Hamid, thank you as well for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
That's it for this edition of The Heat. We'd love to hear from you, so please send us your questions, comments, and story ideas to theheat@cctv-america.com. And to continue the conversation, join us on Facebook at CCTV America. I'm Arlington in Washington, D.C. Thanks for being here.